Oh, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Rundown. I'm Drew, and this time I'm not solo. I finally have someone with me to talk to about the Knicks. It's not that I didn't have other people in the comment section I could talk to and everything, but you know what I mean, right? Like it's better to have someone here, and I have the one and only Tyrese. Tyrese, how are you doing this evening?
It's been a good evening. The Knicks won. John Cena's the justified heel. It's been a really good day, I would say. Lot to talk about. Also, they come to San Antonio Wednesday, so I'll be at the game. So you know what? Good to see them coming in with a win.
Yes, and we do have a lot to talk about, but before we do that, we need to, of course, remember our sponsors that we care about the most, and that is obviously Bet Online. And Bet Online is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for betting on all the madness that happens in the month of March. Whether you're a seasoned fan or a first time bettor, Bet Online is your ultimate game day companion with the largest selection of odds on everything from college basketball to a $200,000 bracket contest. Bet Online continues to be your number one sports betting source. From every Cinderella story to every hat trick, Bet Online has you covered with odds, stats, and more for every game, every player, and every win. Bet Online, the game starts here. Then, of course, all the Strickland stuff, right? Strickland, the Strick.land, patreon.com/Strickland, all that good shit. So do that. Tyrese, we finally got a win, a dominant win, to the point where Tibbs even pulled the starters before Spolstra did.
I
So like
know. I was
it
so
was
proud.
it was that level of dominance. So what are some of your initial thoughts? Like you're watching this game, they come out, with the shitty first quarter, but like where were you after that?
The first quarter was just like atrocious. Um,
It was terrible.
they just did not know what they were doing process wise. Like they just generated really bad looks, and I think part of that is just due to the fact that they don't know how to use their advantage creation without Brunson,
Hmm.
which is again strange because you have a bunch of guys who can like create their own shot to some degree, but like they just without Brunson they were just like chickens in a coop, and they started to figure out in the second quarter, mainly because they
Hmm.
decided, hey, Carl Anthony Towns can shoot threes, have him do that. And then in the third
Crazy.
quarter, it was like, oh, you guys can play basketball. It's great.
Hmm.
So the process improved throughout the game. I think defensively, I think what was interesting was putting OG on Bam and then having Cat guard Highsmith. That basically
Hmm.
like blew the game open. Like the Heat could not generate offense when that happened because if you try to switch that action, then you are cooked. Um, So yeah, I thought they played a really good second half. I thought they were just so talented. And they're a more talented team than the Heat, so they can ignore their first half and ultimately like they came away with the win and they looked really good doing it. So
I also thought specific like Deuce and pretty everyone as the team did, and Mikhail as well, did a really good job of just basically forcing Hero to not take threes. Right? Like they basically conceded the floater, right? They basically conceded the floater to Hero, and that was just great because like no one else can shoot. Duncan Robinson was the only guy magically. Of course, he's magically making threes when he's at Madison Square Garden, but like they can't shoot. They have no one on offense. They have no one who can create for the. I mean, Hero can create for himself, right? But they have no one who can create for others. And you're right. Just like the matchup having OG on Bam, like that was like just a smart decision from Tibbs, which is kind of shocking. Just the past couple games of what he's been doing. It was great to see. And I don't know. You know what it is? And I'm going to tee this up for you. When Josh Hart is looking to score, scoring, actively looking to shoot threes and making threes, you you just see the difference because like the Golden State game, I had to do the post game, and it really was. It was disappointing because like Josh Hart didn't score anything, right? Like he wasn't really playmaking, he wasn't doing anything. And today he did stuff, and the Heat aren't talented, and it was a blowout. Like exactly the type of win that you need over this opponent. Well, mainly because Josh Hart showed up.
Yeah, like for better or for worse, Josh Hart is the heart and soul of this team, pun intended. Because when he's on, you legitimately have like a 3-level scorer who can play make, rebound, and score from, again, all 3 levels, because he can hit pull-up shots. He can hit pull-up threes. Like, he has just lay this out. He has the ability to hit the most important shot in the game. He could do everything. He can defend when he wants to.
He had 4 steals tonight.
Yes, he can defend when he wants to. He can play bigger against bigger wings when he wants to. He can rebound against bigger wings when he wants to. He could do all of these things. And then he could also like run an offense, get you going in transition, play passing lanes. So you understand why he starts. Like, you can understand why he starts because nobody else in the team has all of the skill set. Like, Mikal and OG can like force things in the passing lane and they can defend, but they can't play make the way Josh Hart can. They can't rebound the way Josh Hart can. And when he's off, it's like, well, where did the Knicks get that extra kind of juice from? Because nobody else has that capability to bring that kind of juice. Which is why they have to go to Deuce, they have to go to Mitch, and they need those guys to kind of like fill in their roles. He's so volatile, but when he's on, he wins you playoff games and playoff series. And we saw it last year where legitimately they beat the Sixers because Josh Hart could shoot. And then against the Cavs, they beat the Sixers, or rather they beat the Cavs because Josh Hart could shoot and Josh Hart could rebound. And it's like, this is why you can't quit him. You can't quit him. He's just he's LSD. You just can't quit him.
He's such a unique player, right? When you have this type of unique player, like it creates such an advantage that like teams don't have. Like, they really don't have, like, who rebounds like he does at his size? Like, no one does. Right, like that already doesn't exist. Basically, what, like prime Westbrook, and even then, that was specifically like the team would be boxing out for him to grab the rebound and go in transition. Hart can take the contested rebound, push in transition, and either score or create a scoring opportunity for someone else. Like, that is something teams just don't have. And as annoying as he can be when he's not scoring and not shooting, this is the perfect example, I think. Like, he tied Clyde for the 8 triple doubles in a season. He has a chance of breaking it, which is wild to consider because like it's Clyde. And I don't know, like everything just makes sense when he is on his game, when he's rebounding, when he's passing, when he's playing defense, when he's shooting the ball. Like, he only took 5 threes, but like he probably could have taken a few more. But like he had a couple like corner catch and shoot opportunities, but he doesn't take them. He only wants like some crazy off the above the break threes. Like, that's what he wants.
And he's good at them.
Yeah, he's good at them.
Like, there are probably 5 players in the league who are really good at being a pick and roll screener, really good at being a pick and roll roller, and really good at being a pick and roll ball handler. And he's one of them. Like, I don't think people realize how rare that is, because usually you don't get a good screener and a good ball handler, like as consistently as he does it, because he's used a lot for guard screens. But the fact that he could also like flip it, and you can have somebody else screen for him, and he can get going downhill, and he can get to a mid-range shot. He can get 2 feet in the paint and get to the rim, kick out, drive. He can finish through contact and get and ones. Like, that's why they can't quit him. I keep stressing this because it matters. The fact that you have somebody who can get into the half court and can shoot like a decent percentage in the mid range. Like, it's not a go-to shot, but like he's good in floater range. He's decent in the mid range. The fact that like that's a legitimate counter for him, you just can't do much more than Josh Hart can. And the fact that he's playable in the half court, that's the thing. Like, I see a comment here from Rick James where it says Josh Hart dies in the half court. No, he doesn't. I don't think he dies in the half court at all. I think where he dies is when he has to catch and shoot threes. But I do think, again, if you used him more of a screen as a screener, if you used him more as a roller and had a cat space, because that's ideally what the Knicks have been like relying on all season, is somebody can create the initial advantage and then Josh Hart can capitalize off of it. But Josh Hart just needs to have the ability to like score more. Honestly, if he just looked to score more, he's probably a lot better than starting lineup. He just does not look to score as much as he probably should.
I know where this is coming from for dying in the half court. I think that's more to do with a larger issue, I think, with the team and the offense, right? Because you'll have defenses literally just be like, we're going to ignore him. We're going to load up on a side or something like that. You kind of, and then the Knicks don't do anything with that extra space anywhere. But there's one play that really stood out to me, and I wish we could do like replays and stuff sometimes. But it was a high screen and roll with Deuce and Mitch. And Mitch comes all the way out, like close to the logo for the screen and roll. Deuce comes around it, and because Mitch's defender came up so far, Deuce kicks it out to Hart. Hart has the entire paint going. He drives hard into the paint. He kicks it back out. I think it was either the Shamit or Bridges for a three. It was one of those two guys. But like you could just kind of see what he can do and just kind of like what the team can do and how. That's how you're supposed to maximize space, and the team doesn't always do that consistently. And I do think that's that is like the larger issue that we're seeing with the team. But like that's how you attack space, and I do think Josh Hart is really good at attacking space. He just needs to be aggressive in doing it. He really does. I have a fun side. Who do you think took more threes today? The Heat or the Knicks?
No, I know the Knicks did. Just because I thought it was hilarious that the Heat took 23 threes, made 6 of them, and Duncan Robinson made 5 of them. So nobody else who played legitimate minutes on this team made a 3. Like the Heat team are so bad. I could talk about the Heat. I could talk so much about the Heat because they're just bad.
They're bad.
And their pivots are insanely limited. They're probably not going to have a pick in 2025. They're probably not going to have a pick in 2027 because they traded those picks for they traded for Jimmy. They traded for Rozier, which was insane. I thought it was insane at the time. Insane now.
Rozier barely gets burned, and it's absolutely hysterical. It's absolutely hysterical.
Bam is one of the worst offensive bigs in the league, and he can't shoot. And then they also gave him, I'm pretty sure they gave him the 35% max, which is insane for somebody who, again, cannot shoot. And now, like, Tyler Hero is going to get paid.
He is.
Because he just made the All-Star team, and he's their best player.
Well, he's their quote-unquote best player. I mean, he's a glorified 6-man getting starter burn. That's who Tyler Hero is at this point. Like what I find the Heat really funny is they need, you know what I mean? Like they need a point guard, if that makes sense, right? Like they have no one because Jimmy Butler quit on them.
Yeah.
Every one of their players is basically someone to play off of someone. Like Bam is better to play off someone. Hero is better to play off someone. Duncan Robinson can't create his own shot. Right? Like it's shit like that. They don't have that guy. Like they don't have anyone to create any sort of advantage, and it's absolutely hysterical just to see this Heat demise because they got nothing going for them. Like absolutely nothing. Like what's Andrew Wiggins gonna do? Right? Like nothing. Absolutely nothing. Like they I don't know about their draft pick situation, but like
it's bad.
They have shit contracts and players who need to play with better people in order to be maximized. Like Bam's not elevating his game. Like he's not. Like it's not happening. Tyler Hero can't play defense. Who else do they have? Hawkes. I mean, he's fine.
Hawkes stinks. Like he's just Josh Hart but worse.
He was how many? Like I see. That's crazy that they only have him as 3 turnovers. I swear to God, Hawkeyes had like 5 or 6 turnovers.
Yeah, like he's just like, oh, he's a really bad Josh Hart variant where it's like, okay, this do it all forward who can kind of do everything, but he just does not have the ability to like take over games the way Hart does, because Hart is a scorer who doesn't want to score, and Hawkeyes is somebody who can't score, and there's a big difference.
Yeah, and they have Davion Mitchell, who's good on defense, but my God, is he a non-factor on like the 0 factor on offense? Like absolutely terrible.
Like credit to him, he's improved his finishing, but like it's just
I get that, but
the
like,
shooting is just not there. The shooting isn't there, and it just makes everything else harder. Even though the defense is great, he had 4 stocks. Like the defense is obviously good. It's just how can the offense become passable? And I don't think it can. Like Khalil Ware is good, but he's obviously just like he's a center with no real star upside, so it doesn't really matter. Kyle Anderson is washed.
Then you have someone named Pell Larson who showed up at the game.
Yeah, and then
they're like he was like he's the guy from Sweden. I was like, okay.
Yeah, and then like Heisman's the guy that should probably they should probably just trade Heisman for like a couple of seconds, and they should trade him to the Knicks. But I digress.
I was actually thinking that if Duncan Robinson was a free agent this offseason, if the Knicks could get him on the low,
they probably could. I mean, I wouldn't hate it. I would not.
Like I just want like a gunner who just shoots.
Yes, like they need a gunner. That. They need a gunner so bad.
I would love that.
I think you could argue like there's a world where you can have Josh Hart be much more of a scorer and facilitator with the second unit, and that puts everything else into place. Like that makes everybody else fit, because now you like campaigns minutes are opened up, because now you have someone like Josh Hart who's like doing more of the initiation and doing more of the ball handling and creating, which means like you open up like maybe like 15 minutes for like a wing gunner, and that's where Duncan Robinson would just come in and he would boost the offense so heavily.
Yeah, because like Josh Hart pretty much is to me the super 6-man, kind of like Andre Iguodala for the Warriors, right? Like the guy who can definitely play all the starters minutes, can do everything, but you need him to come off the bench to kind of like give juice to everything else. Which is
I don't even think they need him to come off the bench. Like I just think they need him to play with the bench. He needs to have more minutes next to Cat. He just needs minutes in spacing and minutes where he gets to handle the ball. Like somebody needs to tell him, hey, you need to handle the ball. And I think if he was wired in a way where like he was actively trying to get shots up and looking for his own shot, the Knicks offense would be so much better, because again, he has the skill set essentially of a point guard. Like a modern day NBA point guard, like a low end one. But he clearly has that kind of skill set. Like you can't do all the things that he does and then pull up shoot and then be bad. So
this is great. He played 29 minutes today, Josh Hart, and he was a plus 31. Which is absolutely
like the impact just pops, dude. Like when he's on, the impact is just nuts.
Oh, my favorite right now in the plus minus stuff. You'll like this. Khalil Ware, 19 minutes, minus 27. I love big swings for plus minus when it's like they barely played, but like they get their ass kicked.
It was honestly Mr. Robinson. Like Mr. Robinson, I had a tweet earlier in the day, and I was like, he might just be physically cooked. And then the second quarter came, and then the third quarter came, and he did not look physically cooked. I do worry about like the second jump, because the second jump is like not all the way there, and that's like the skill that makes Mitch. Is because like he is just so bouncy, and it's like a functional bounce where it's like he doesn't need to jump above the rim anymore. But the fact that he could just like jump and then jump again, that's what made his rebounding elite. That's what makes his rim protection elite. That's what gives him the ability to recover and everything. So when it's not like all the way there, he looks rougher than like a normal big would look. Who's like,
did you see his left-handed hook scoop?
Yeah.
I love that. That made me
he has like actively tried to add something to his game this year, and I appreciate that.
I appreciate that. He also had one terrible take, but I was like, it's okay. he's going for it, and I'm happy that he's going for it. So this is what I was thinking too with Mitch. Hopefully, like this is like he's making progress. I wish I'm not I don't feel like pulling up the stats. Rudy Gobert is not the offensive rebounder. Mitch is, right? If I'm not, I think that's a fair assessment
Yes.
to say. Is that you probably would know more than me.
I agree. I don't think he's the offensive rebounder that Mitch is. I think Mitch is just like, he's the best in the league.
I think there is a world if Mitch can get like up to like, I don't know, something close to what he was. The double big lineup could be huge for this Knicks team, right?
Yes.
Because I'm just like looking at it for like this Heat game. Like again, like the Heat aren't good, but you saw that teams have to put a big on Mitch because he will get the offensive rebound, right? Like he has that respect. So like he has like you have to put someone big on him, so you have to defend it. And if Towns is being guarded by a perimeter player, that becomes a mismatch too. So I think the Knicks really have some sort of juice here with this specific double big lineup because of the respect Mitch has on the offensive glass. And I think that could lead to something like pretty damn good because it also like if they're going to actively look for Mitch, if Mitch has his dumbass like little hook scoop shit, you can't put a smaller guy on him.
Yes.
So like if Mitch actually did add something and he gets his health and his jump and stuff back, like this could be a really good double big lineup. That it's just like that secondary lineup I think this team has been looking for so desperately. And I think Mitch can provide that, especially if Towns is going to shoot like he did. He shot from the logo when he was feeling it in the second quarter, which was great to see. Like, man, Mitch, he managed to play almost 24 minutes. He was 5 for 7, 9 rebounds, 2 blocks, 2 steals. Like, this was a good Mitch game.
Yeah, like I thought it was a great Mitch game. I thought he got after it defensively in a way that I don't think we've seen since maybe the Memphis game, where that was like his first game of the season and he had juice in that kind of way. He got lift. He's been getting a ton of steals. Like, I don't worry about steals with Mitch. I think like when you know Mitch is back, it's the blocks. Because at the end of the day, like that's where he makes his money. It's the blocks. And the fact that he is giving you 4 stocks in that kind of way, like the Knicks have not had that all season from a big. They've had it from OG, but OG can't do it as well as Mitch can in terms of like being a guy who gets you 3 stocks, 4 stocks, 5 stocks, 6 stocks. Like that's what Mitchell Robinson does. And again, like
he would have had 5 stocks if what's his name, if McBride did draw the charge, because he blocked Hero for that half court shot that Hero was trying to do. Like he got up there. He's coming back. He's slowly coming back, but like, man, healthy Mitch, I really think healthy Mitch is like we're seeing it. We're actually seeing it.
Healthy Mitch, legitimately, I looked at the Wolves team from last year, and I don't think obviously Mitch is good as Gobert, but the fact that instead of Mike Conley, you have Jalen Brunson in that slot.
Yes, exactly.
Like that's what makes the offense passable. It's the fact that you have Mitchell Robinson with offensive rebounds and Jalen Brunson being able to, like, he could work with the lesser spacing, but you also have guys who could like legitimately shoot from the perimeter. Like all of them can shoot except for Mitch. And like the Wolves lineup, you had someone like McDaniels who can't really shoot, and you had
and you have Edwards who's like the volume guy, but not the efficiency guy.
Yes. So like the fact that they can legitimately have, if McHale could be your volume guy or OG, I think OG's been kind of like toying with the fact of being a volume guy. Like you kind of see it where he would just get them up. I think even today he took 6. Like he took 6 out of 13 shots. Like for OG, that's volume.
McHale was 6 out of 14 shots too. We actually saw him pull up.
I know, and it's like, dude, do that more.
He really should.
Like all of this team should just pull up. Like that's really it. Like you're just kind of seeing like you guys should just take more pull up threes. You guys are good at them. But there's juice with the Mitch lineup. I think there's real juice with the Mitch lineup because I do think it kind of maximizes. Brunson can maximize it. That's how I'd say. Like Brunson is able to maximize that lineup because Mitch is passable offensively, and you can high cat defensively, and that's maximizing. You can maximize them.
Yeah, and then the rebounding is going to be totally fine as well, because with both Mitch and Towns, so like you don't need to worry about rebounding either. I don't know. I'm thoroughly enjoying it. What we've seen. Another thing that I saw that I enjoyed, very minor thing. Tibbs kept Shamet at the end of the game, just so Shamet can get like a couple shots. And that 3 points finally coming around for Landry Shamet, my boy Landry Shamet.
I'm pretty sure on the season now he's probably at around 40% from three, which again, never doubted. Never doubted. When he went 3 of 6, so he's 25 of 65.
Well, doesn't sound that's not good.
Quick math.
He's 36.8%.
38 in the season. 38% on the season from three.
Okay.
I mean, he's been like at 40% since he came back from the DNP against the Raptors. So like he's had like a good stretch of like shooting well above 60% true shooting. He's a player, dude. He's had extended minutes in this run. I think he's a player. It just sucks that he like his shoulder is so fucked that he just decides to not take threes sometimes.
I know it's really upsetting.
And it's like, dude, this is your job. Take threes. Because when he take threes, it gives the team a look that they don't have because nobody else in the team has that kind of trigger aside from Campaign. And Campaign is
Campaign.
He's an adventure.
He was better today than he was against the Warriors, but like he's something else. He's hilarious. He's absolutely hilarious.
He has been very bad.
I do need like a Campaign like heater in the playoffs though.
Yes. Like I need him to hit 2 threes and piss somebody off. I think he'll do it too.
He has that in him. I need that desperately. Absolutely desperately. I'm gonna go through some of the comments here. I think this one, the broadcast mentioned this a couple times, but I just like that the Knicks just completed a season series sweep of the Heat for the first time in 32 years.
Oh my god, yeah. This is the greatest day. Like, first of all, Pat Riley's being shit on, and that's great. That's the win. Second of all, like you could see the Knicks are going up, the Heat are going down, and it's just
beautiful.
Like this is for all of the strife that the Knicks have had to endure. From watching Pat Riley be successful, this is a small bit of comeuppance.
And it's because of Jimmy Butler, right? Can you imagine that? Like Jimmy Butler was the demise of the Miami Heat.
Why does Quentin Grimes almost have 50 points? What the fuck?
Who?
Quentin Grimes has 46 points with a minute left in overtime.
Hold on, someone brought up Quentin Grimes. It was Jordan. Do you think Quentin Grimes will want to come back on the non-tax mid-level exception?
Quentin Grimes hates the Knicks, and I'm pretty sure the Knicks hate Quentin Grimes. So
yeah, he's not coming back.
Like they very much don't like they won't say it publicly, but the way last season went, where Quentin Grimes had the starting job, basically got deboed by DiVincenzo,
Dante,
and then like pouted until he got traded because he wanted to get paid so badly, and now he's on Philly. Like this is what Quentin Grimes wanted. Like he just wanted to put up shots and lose games.
Hey, he's living the dream right now.
He's gonna get like an ML League contract just because he pouted and put up shots.
Yeah, like I think the Sixers will probably re-sign him.
Oh, they have to.
Because like, what else do they have going for them? But like, I think they're gonna have to re-sign him. I don't know. He'll be on like a decent contract if he ever fulfills whatever potential he had. But man, the way he ended his Knicks tenure was so truly disappointing. Because like he had his moment in the playoffs, right? He had all that. He had the starting job. And he refused to shoot. He refused to shoot the ball. And then Dante's like, "Oh, I'll shoot the ball. Just let me shoot it."
Yeah, and he wanted creation reps, and then the Knicks were like, "Okay, you can do that on the bench, like fine." And then he's just like, never
Yeah, and he's like,
mind.
no, I don't want this.
And then it's like, okay, so then if you're not going to shoot the ball and you're going to be pouty because we're not going to extend you, then we're just going to trade you. And they traded her for Bogey. Bogey got traded for McHale. Like, you already know how this goes. I think people don't realize the fact like Courtney Brown is not going to make it to the team this year, even if they didn't do the Bogey trade. Like, he was going to get traded to Brooklyn. So like, who cares?
Buckster has. Why can't Tibbs tell these guys to constantly put up that amount of threes every game? Need to know our win rate when we put up this many because the win rate skyrocket. That is actually interesting. We probably should see. I could quickly see if I can find this for us, but definitely like the difference between the Knicks when they win and lose, how many threes they're taking. But like they really should at minimum be taking like 33s a game. I don't know why they don't. They really need to. Even if like, because I think, let me just see real quick, like OG had 6, Hart had 5. These are the attempts, right? Hart had 5, Towns had 5, Mikhail had 6, Deuce had 4, Shaman had 6. Like those are the main guys. Like everyone on this team should be putting up minimum like 5 threes a game, and they play like a 8-man rotation. So like that's definitely like 43s. So like that really should be the case.
Yeah, like
with this team.
McHale should put up 5 at least. OG should put up 5 at least. Hart probably won't put up 5. Like, I will take 4. Give me 4 a game from Hart, and I'll be fine. Brunson should be at like 7.
He really should. Yeah.
And Hart and Cat should be probably at around 7 too, like 6, 7.
So the 3-point attempts for wins for the season, the next 34.9, so 35 attempts per game in wins, and then 32.8, so 33 attempts in losses. And then the main thing is they shoot basically 40% in wins and then 32% in losses. So like they're not putting them up and they're not making them. And then if they make them, but no, they just need to shoot. They can get these looks too. It's not like they can't get them, especially if Mikhail is actually going to willingly pull up from 3 like he did a number of times. If Towns is actually going to be shooting trailing threes like he did multiple times today, especially in the second quarter, like they have the capability. They just really need to do it. I would love for Tibbs to just be like, minimum, you got to get X amount of shots up. They need to. The numbers also, I think a lot of like the analytics will also start just saying, at least in my own research, so take it with the slightest grain of salt, but like 3-point just inherently above the break 3-point shot is inherently a good shot.
Yes.
It just is. Whether you like the attempt itself, whether you make it or miss it, just the attempt itself is good. If you're constantly missing them, it's obviously bad, but like take the shot, because if you're making it, it creates so much of an advantage.
It's the most important shot in basketball because it creates spacing. And I think where the Knicks struggle is the only person who confidently will take an above the break 3 is Karl-Anthony Towns, and he's not self-creating them. He's setting a pick and then he's popping and then he's getting above the break 3. So it spaces the floor, but he's not getting it. Like, it's not a ball handler coming down from half court and deciding I'm just going to take a pull of 3 with 15 seconds left on the clock. Mm-hmm. If that shot goes in, defenses have to adjust. If Cat is just popping from 3 and taking pull of 3s, like, you're not really adjusting your coverage too much. The Knicks, I think, compared to last year, I think my issue with the Knicks is just like they miss Dante because he was a gunner, and he was a gunner who would take a ton of above the break 3s, and they don't really have that this year. And I think it's had an effect on Brunson, where Brunson is deciding to use the space to get to his mid range and get to the hole instead of getting like good above the break 3s. I think in general, like someone like McHale has not really taken those 3s. He's been trying to operate more in the corners, which I understand. He's a good corner shooter, but it's also like, you should take those 3s. I think everybody in this team is capable of taking those 3s. They just decide to not take them, and I think that creates frustration.
Rick James has, we don't play 5 out with the starting 5, so we might as well start Mitch. I mean, Mitch isn't there. I don't think he's there just yet, but it does create an interesting idea of what the team should do, because I do think there is something to Hart coming off the bench, because I would assume, right, it would be you're benching Hart, but with Brunson coming back, I don't know if they're gonna run. Or would they run more pick and rolls for McHale
No.
if Mitch is on? Like I don't know if they would, and if they just resort back to Brunson Helio ball with Tibbs, I don't think not starting. I think then benching Josh Hart doesn't make sense, because he's the only person who can create a different look for
Yes.
this team. So
Yeah.
like that's, and I think that it's really frustrating, because that falls on the coach, and we know that Tibbs isn't getting fired at this very moment. Maybe we'll see in the offseason how, depending on the playoffs go, but like I don't think they are. Like McHale's running some more pick and rolls right now, mainly because they have nothing else going for them, and it's going to work because they have to do other things. And Mitch would help with the screening, because Towns is actually not a good does not screen well.
He just goes screens and pops. Like he doesn't screen for the sake.
He just kind of like wraps around. Mitch has actually come a long way with his screen, so he'll actually like screen and rescreen and kind of create some space. So like if the team is going to allow McHale to use the ball more, like with like that type of creation, then I would say yeah, you could probably start Mitch. I don't trust the team. Actually, I don't trust Tibbs in the team in the offense when Brunson comes back to actually do this.
Obi Toppin just banked in a 3, dude. Okay.
What happened?
Obi Toppin just banked in a 3 to I think he's probably gonna end up winning the game for the Pacers and fucking.
Oh man, Obi Toppin. I miss Obi.
That is the most bullshit 3 I've ever seen. Fading away in the corner with the shot clock expiring, and then banked in a 3 to put them up 2. And they're playing. It's a hospital Pacer squad that's going to beat the fucking Wolves.
You're gonna love Obi. Is 34-10 tonight, and Julius Randle is 17-6-4.
Yeah. The Timberwolves are good. Like, please don't buy the Timberwolves stock. Whatever you do, don't buy the Timberwolves stock, because people are going to convince themselves that this team is good and they're not.
Would you call a downfall of Julius Randle? How would you explain Julius Randle now?
They're trying to get him to be a Draymond variant in the best way possible. Like, that's what they're trying to do. Like, they're trying to get him to be a Draymond variant, and they're basically saying like, "Hey, Dante DiVincenzo is our second best player, so we kind of need him to like take shot." Like, yeah, like they're essentially using like Dante DiVincenzo and Naz Reid as essentially their number 2 options. Good luck. Good luck.
I wonder what I wonder what's going to happen with Randall's going to take the player option probably, right?
Yes. He's going to take the player option. I just don't know how else they're going to build their team, because Naz Reid is going to be there. Like, is Naz Reid going to come off the bench again?
Yeah.
Is Nickeil Alexander-Walker going to come off the bench again? And are you going to pay these guys 8 figures to come off the bench again? Like, are you going to give Naz Reid $100 million contract?
It's really interesting with the Timberwolves did. It's kind of crazy how big of a, like, as annoyed as so many Knicks fans are, but I know like us, like with the season, how it's gone, with Tibbs and Towns and his awful defense and all that sort of stuff. The team really made out like bandits in that trade.
Yes.
Like, it's kind of crazy, like looking at it, especially now, like as the season's coming to a close. Towns had a career year, right? And you saw what that was. Like, you gave him a point guard. Like, as great as Anthony Edwards is, he's not the point guard that Jalen Brunson is. Like, he's just not that type of player. And as annoying as the contract is, like, it's still in theory tradable for like the big star if we needed it to happen. So like Randall wasn't gonna get, like, say I know this is probably thrown out a lot, and I don't think it's actually going to happen. But say Giannis is like, I'm done. I'm done with
I
Milwaukee.
think
I'm
it
tired.
that could probably happen this offseason.
Right? Like he's tired of the cheese. He's tired of the Miller. He's tired of the bratwurst. He's tired of all of it. The Bucks weren't going to trade Julius. Weren't going to take Julius Randle. No, you need like actual Carl. Like you need Karl Anthony Towns, who's going to be an All NBA player. Who's probably make second team or third team this year. Like that's what you need. You need someone who can actually like be good, and we've seen that, which is kind of crazy to consider. Like the Knicks made out like bandits, even with that contract, which is insane. I love it. I can't believe how crazy it's been. And I was big on like we're gonna, Julius Randle's gonna turn it around. And it's like, well, you know what? Thank God we don't have to deal with Julius Randle.
Yeah, like I'm sorry, he's just bad at offense. At the end of the day, the Wolves are getting the quote unquote best version of Randle, which is not the best version of Randle. The best version of Randle is the one that we saw in 22-23 when he like took a bunch of threes and operated as a 20-10, 25-10, and like 4 insane like wing scorer. He was basically like a whack ass version of Tatum. But my point is, like, it's just kind of hard to win with a guy who's that bad offensively. Because despite the fact that the Knicks made him passable, his passable was like a league average offensive player. He's just not that kind of player. He's not that kind of shooter. And yeah, the Knicks don't have to pay him a max contract. And that's beautiful because if he was on this team, Tibbs would literally coach him to be a max contract player. Like, and that's the problem. That's what they kind of have to trade it because it's like, oh, he's probably going to make an all-star team and an all-NBA team potentially if he's on the Knicks again. So we kind of need to move him before he accrues that kind of value for us. But yeah, like the fact that Karl Anthony Towns has like not been put in a position to succeed, aside from just being put next to Jalen Brunson, like he's not shooting them any threes. He's being asked to be way more of a rim protector.
Yeah,
like,
anchor defense.
He's like playmaking from the baseline and at the top of the key. Like he's being used like Julius Randle.
Yeah, except for the he doesn't do dribble handoffs, but in theory, for the most part, yeah.
Like he's being used like Julius Randle. He never gets minutes of the 4. And despite that, he's having a career year. The best year of his career has clearly been a top 15 player at minimum and is going to make an all-NBA team. Like, there's levels, dude. Like, we haven't maximized him. We haven't maximized him for shit.
No.
And compared to someone like Randle, who we did maximize, like, we maximized the fuck out of Randle. The fact
that we did.
Like, the fact that he's legitimately still, like, making this shit work and he's giving you 25 and 13 or whatever, like, that just kind of shows you, yeah, like, there are levels. There are levels.
I'm just double-checking some of Towns' stats right now because he is at 20. Yeah, he's scoring. He's 24-13 on 63 true shooting. Like that's absolutely.
This would be a Julius Randle career year, by far.
Yeah, it would be. Just except Julius Randle would probably have like 2 more assists. Like Towns is at 3. Randle would probably be at like 5.
Yeah, like
5.5.
This would be the COVID year Randle on crack.
Oh like, man, that was a great Julius Randle year.
Yeah, like if Julius did this, Julius Randle would be getting a max contract.
He would be. Because he just the efficiency alone. Jordan Buff has tips. Is like when you have Mitch and Cat out there, you have 2 7-footers. When OG on the front line with them, you're so long. The basket's protected. Yeah, Tibbs. I guess.
Yeah, play him next to rim protection more.
Yeah, like play it more. Like even before the Mitch injury, you kind of saw it with Huck Porty, and like they still didn't do it, and it was like, oh, maybe we should play Huck Porty more. And it's like, oh, shocking, right? What rim protection could do, but unfortunately he got injured.
We're playing next to Precious, who offers nothing. Like, no. That's the problem. Like, you played him next to Precious, who doesn't give you the rim protection and still makes Cat the 5. He just makes the offense worse. And it's like, Well, yeah. Why do you think this isn't working, Tibbs? It's because you legitimately gave him nothing to work with.
Yeah, like it's great that Mitch is coming. Honestly, it's great that Mitch is coming along because this team desperately. It's the Tibbs team. Honestly, if he doesn't have like a defensive five, it's kind of crazy how like how he has nothing. I
Yes.
don't know. I really am out on. I think I'm completely out on him. Like I'm done.
And for like all of the stupid shit that's happened this season, like the Knicks are a league average defense, and that went up today. So
Yeah, and it's mainly because of Mitch. And I know people are gonna say like Brunson isn't playing and that's helping the defense. I don't think it's Brunson not playing. I think it's just you're playing Mitch and Deuce more minutes, which is something I think so many of us have been saying. Like you play Deuce a little more than playing Precious Achua in some games because there were some games Precious was getting more minutes than Deuce. So like play your best players. I don't know. I don't know.
it really could all be so simple.
So
Like they're 14th in defense, man. Like they're clearly personnel to make this work. Clearly.
they need to go on the run. They can go on a little run right now, right? Because they have San Antonio on Wednesday. They're tanking. You're going to be there, so you're either jinxing them or
I'm going to be there, and I'm going to be there a couple rows up from the court. So I truly hope that they don't piss me off because I paid way too much for those tickets. And I paid for them before everybody on the Spurs got hurt and before Brunson got hurt. So I was an idiot. That's the worst part. It's like if I would have waited until like today to buy them, they would have been like,
you could have been courtside for like $50 because it's San Antonio.
And now I'm not courtside. I'm like row 7 courts.
Yeah, you're row 7 and you bought them when they were like Brunson, Wembanyama. It's going to be lit, and it's like no.
No.
Oh, you're gonna
You'll
get
Blake Wesley and
Keldon Johnson
Justin
minutes.
I hate Keldon Johnson. That's the worst.
You're gonna get Keldon Johnson, one of the Champagny brothers.
Oh my god!
Is one of the Joneses still on the team? Isn't Trey Jones on?
He got traded.
Damn, I was gonna say you're gonna have one of the Joneses.
Oh, so just for reference, the seats that I had bought, they're available now for $183.
Yeah, see you.
I still have saved
up,
$400, dude.
You fucked up. You should have just waited.
I'm so mad. So mad.
I'm actually just curious now. Who's the Spurs lineup is right now? Hold on.
I think they played today. Actually.
Oh yeah, you're gonna see. Oh my god, are you gonna get Harrison Barnes minutes? Oh god.
Yes. Harrison Barnes. My beloved CP3, Devin Vassell, Bismack Biyombo is starting. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I just saw that. Bismack Biyombo. You're gonna get Bismack minutes. You paid hard-earned cash. You gave it to the NBA for Bismack Biyombo minutes.
I paid $700 for Bismack Biyombo starting at center. I'm so fucking mad.
It's all right. It's all right. I lost money on last year when I forget when in the series for Indiana I was like, dude, we're getting Knicks Celtics Eastern Conference Finals. I'm gonna be here in Boston. Then OG gets hurt in Indiana. I'm like, fuck. And let's just like I resold the tickets, but let's just say no, I didn't resell the ticket. I forgot what I did. Let's just say that I wasted a lot of money on playoff tickets. And then like the entire Knicks team went down.
Yep. That's how I felt like when I bought the tickets to go see them last year in January, because I was like, oh my god, this is great. And then the game was great. And I was like, oh my god. And then I watched Jalen Brunson drop 61 and lose because Keldon Johnson had the whistle of Kawhi Leonard. And
Keldon Johnson.
God, I don't. I
No,
can't talk
it's
about it. I literally can't watch highlights of that game. I'm still mad. I can't watch highlights.
yeah. So that just reminds me of I was so excited. I was hyped. I was talking so much shit in Boston here, being like Jalen Brunson's gonna come. He's the best player on the court. He's gonna whip Jason Tatum's ass. And then like we had that series. At least we know the Pacers are frauds. Thank God. Thank God we know that. This was confirmed this year, which is very nice to know. Tyrese, I don't know if I have anything else to discuss. It was a good win.
Yeah, good win. High level execution. Josh Hart is nuts, and I like the fact that Facundo had held up in isolation against Kyle Anderson. That was a big win for
That was a big win
for Macomb FC. Macomb FC is really
it's great.
proud of that one.
Tyrese is going to be live at the game on Wednesday.
I will be taking pictures.
He will be live streaming at the post game in his seat on a cell phone.
No,
that would be absolutely hilarious, though.
I was saying, oh god, I would not even do that. Like you don't see Blake Wesley live. Like nobody wants to see that.
No one does. But we're not going to see you Wednesday. Someone will. Basically, it won't be us, but someone will. Good night, everyone. Enjoy your evening. Sweet dreams. And see ya.